Yep, that's right. We just had the last Grand Prix before the summer break of the 2022 season. And boy, what a race it was for the Hungarian Grand Prix. With other news as well, of course, Vettel, he's out. He's grabbing his sunshades, gonna kick it up on a beach or maybe take up some golf. He's retiring. Bye, Seb. And also, Alonso going from Alpine with his new L plan to Aston Martin. Yeah, that's right. We got a lot to cover here. The lights are on. Away we go. All right. So where to start? Well, I think we're going to start with some of the big news, which is some of the movement that we have. Because, of course, you know, there's lots of talks of who's coming in for 2023. Well, we already know some of the movement happening. Again, Vettel gone. And that's sad for everybody who's a Formula One fan to see, because we all love Seb. You know what I mean? Whether it's the multi-21 days or it's, you know, picking up garbage after the Grand Prix weekend days, you know, not too long ago, and everything in between. Seb's great. Very sad to see him go. I'm sure we'll see him around in some kind of capacity, some way here and there. He is on social media, so hey, if you can't get enough of him at the paddock, at least you can follow him on Instagram and stuff. That should be pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very happy for Seb. Love him so much as a person, as a driver. You know what I mean? I got a lot of respect for him. So I'm very happy for him and his chosen passion and the rest of his life, what he's going on to do. But as a fan, very sad. Now, El Plan seemed to have El changed a little bit, right? Yeah, terrible Spanish, by the way. No, but all jokes aside, I didn't see that coming. I really didn't. I definitely saw Alonso sticking around. You know, the idea, well, he's 40, you know, is he this, that? No, he's driving harder than probably anybody. You know what I mean? And I think if he had a winning car under him, there'd be a lot of nervous people. So, you know, his passion is all there. But I think he's just not kind of perhaps getting what he needs from Alpine. You know what I mean? I don't really know. I haven't looked into the story too much, so I'm sure details will be coming out, especially as summer break unfolds and there's not as much Grand Prix action going on. But I will say, I'm sure after the weekend, and we're going to get onto the Hungarian Grand Prix right now, you know, he was a little upset at the beginning stages with Ocon and his defense, you know what I mean, practices against Alonso, which, and then, so later on, there was other issues as well where Danny Rick got past both of them in like one turn. So I think Alonso's probably a little happy about his decision that he's making. I think, you know, he's had some good times with his team, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be surprised. You know, last year he worked overtime to keep hammer time from happening and allowing Ocon to take that win. And, you know, flash forward now and it's just, you know, no love lost for Alonso with Ocon. So I don't know. Crazy situation. I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with him at Aston Martin. I think they're going to continue to grow. And I think, you know, they got a lot of development around them. So, man, they already got to get off the ground with a 4-time champion. Now they're going to have another champion, 2-time champion joining them. Excellent. I'm thinking El Plan 2.0 is definitely in effect, and it's going to be pretty cool. So, again, getting back to the Hungarian Grand Prix, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit real quick because, to me, it was one of the best Hungarian Grand Prix I can remember in many years. And there's been some good races, but I mean, I think I stopped like 10 minutes in and I was like, yo, this is a race. Like, it's not clear who is going to win the race. It's not clear who's going to be second, third, fourth, fifth. Pretty much all the lower end kind of cars, and some people are struggling. Like, they didn't really make a name for themselves at all. Like, the whole go to hard tire strategy obviously didn't work. Ferrari, we'll get to that in a second. That's another case, you know, but Ferrari did it too. So a lot of those cars that kind of like make up, you know, like when others are struggling at the front of the pack, you know, they're there to pick up the slack and so forth. None of them are really in contention. But that said, the top 10 cars, maybe even the top 12, were like, they were just shuffling around. And it was very interesting to see. I really enjoyed that. Now, I want to say the start of the race, the top 3 got off well, but I think they were all not excellent starts. They were just good starts. But since all the top 3 got the same kind of start, it seemed all right. But you can kind of tell Norris's first phase was great, and that kind of helped him stick right there. I also think Hamilton obviously had a great start, and that made all the difference for him. And Russell held the lead for so long. Big ups to Russell. We've been waiting for this moment for Mercedes for so long. What a way to end the last Grand Prix before the summer break with Russell on pole. He did a great job. Now, yes, Lewis probably would have been on pole if he didn't have DRS issues. I think that's all clear now. But I still say Russell did a great job, and I think he did really well to hold on to it. And I was kind of, I was hoping he'd eke out his first win. He definitely deserved it. He's been putting on great performances. But, Leclerc finally got it in front of him, and then he just started to fall back a little bit from there. And yes, of course, Hamilton just had great pace, and he was kind of holding on. And I was saying about 2/3 through the race, as him and Sainz were still only one pit down, the rest were all two. I was saying, the sprinkles were starting to happen. It's been a while. There hasn't been a really hard safety car. So it was just a lot going on that could have, made those chances for them to pit and either one of them have the chance for the win. Now, that didn't happen. Sainz ended up pitting, and then I think Hamilton came in 2 to 3 laps later. But Mercedes did a great job, and thumbs up to them for taking that risk, for seeing the potential there, and then finally mitigating it enough that you're not going to lose out too much. I think they ended up right behind Sainz, and then they had the pace right there to get ahead of him, Russell, and then push on. So that was pretty cool. Now, the whole hard tire Ferrari thing, what I just want to sum all that up to say is there's no shortage of See, I'm messing up my words. There is no shortage of Ferrari being able to muck up a strategy and almost a sure thing, and how we didn't get a Ferrari on podium, and how I'm a Ferrari fan, and I'm definitely a fan of Charles and Carlos, but I'm not a fanboy. You know what I mean? Like Matt from WTF1 or something. Fanboys. They're out there, and of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything bad. But I'm not a fanboy Ferrari fan, but I'm definitely a Ferrari fan. So it hurts me, but somebody who lives and breathes the Scarlet team, you might need some Xanax, or you might have tried to see your doctor after it to get some, because that's Ferrari just made sure they went into this season, a summer break, leaving everybody questioning what's going on. So, wishing them all the best, and I really hope that they kind of get a reprieve, get it all back together, and get it going again, because this was Ferrari's to lose, and they're losing it. And I think even Max was surprised. Max barely makes mistakes. He even sent it for a 360, and of course, like Verstappen fashion, yes, we're going to tag that right now, Verstappen fashion. And yeah, try to say it 5 times fast, I'm not going to right now, but he seems to always, when he does have an issue, 90% of the time, he just corrects it and is able to keep going. Like everyone else sends it, does 4 spins and hits a wall. This kid does a 360 and is able to keep it going. Of course, he lost a couple places, but he made him up. He had the pace too. And yeah, it's definitely a driver error. And I think some of it was also due to, they were saying they're having clutch issues. So maybe it was a little more of that than, total driver error. But beyond all that stuff, whether you want to get into the weeds of that, Red Bull was there to pick up the slack, and they made it happen. And if, Hamilton was on pole, he probably would have got first. He probably would have been able to hold Verstappen back. But nothing is certain, because a lot of things changes when that happens. It's not just black and white. But there's a chance for that. So I really feel good about what we saw here in the first half of this season. Now, so many teams just coming together. I'm loving the Haas and the grabbing the points and so forth for both of them, Mick and Magnussen. Man, I'm really enjoying seeing McLaren. If you want to check it out, one of my first videos when I'm talking about these guys, especially when the Bahrain testing, you're crazy to sleep on McLaren. No, they're not exactly where they want to be. I'm sure they kind of want to be battling like Mercedes and Red Bull, not really having to battle like the Alpines and so forth. But they've turned it around, and in great fashion, they're continuing to progress. Even Danny Rick, still a little off his teammate most times, but he's there and thereabouts. And, you know, I'm just very happy to see what we are seeing right now. And as far as going forward into next year, there's a lot of seats that are kind of open. You know, I'm kind of predicting that Latifi's gone. There might be one other that kind of goes, but I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. It definitely depends how the season unfolds for the rest of the year. But man, I can't wait. It's going to be very hard to have the 2 weeks off. It really will be. But of course, if we get to come back, and we come back to one of my favorite tracks, which is Spa. Yes, that's right. And then I'm pretty sure it's a triple header too. So yeah, at least when we're back, we're going hard. Yes, we are. Let me know what you think about the Hungarian Grand Prix. There's the past few races where it's kind of like, I feel like maybe it's going to taper off a bit or something. We're just going to kind of drift into summer break. And instead, no. The past 3-4 races have been electric. You know, we've been seeing the Mercedes on podium after podium after podium. It's getting real good here. So I still will say the Drivers' Championship is not all but decided, but it's very close. All right, I'm still not there yet to just say Max has it wrapped, because we saw some swings, and we never know what's going to happen with Red Bull. They're not reliability free, or a reliability issue free, that's for sure. So I'm not going to write them off. What I will say is that Max Verstappen has like a 90% chance of taking this Drivers' Championship. And if he goes a few more races into the season, like if he goes through the triple header and nails them, win, it's almost all but done by there. What I will say is the what I will say is the team's Constructor Championship, I definitely think that Mercedes might take it. And yes, I'm claiming that right now. Obviously, Red Bull is ahead, but Red Bull, they don't have the consistency that Mercedes does. Mercedes has the reliability, and they have two great drivers, which Ferrari does, which Red Bull does. But I just think if you were like had a points, whatever, Hamilton and Russell are a duo that is a little bit stronger than either of the other two teams. So you have a extremely good driver pairing, great reliability, and they're just consistent. So I really do think if Russell and Hamilton are just banging it out for the rest of the year, you know, Perez might not show up, Verstappen might have a DNF here and there or whatever, and I don't think Ferrari still has a chance to come back and beat this. But if they don't, and they're not going very hard, then I really don't. If Charles isn't able to start contesting Verstappen, even if he doesn't get the Drivers' Championship, if he isn't able to start closing the gap, then right away I would say that Mercedes definitely is going to take P2 for teams, and there's a very good chance they might still take P1 in the team's Constructors' Championship. So that's just my prediction. It's definitely possible, and I think they will outdo Red Bull, especially with the second half of the year. I mean, look how close they are already, and that was with so many issues that they were battling. So, yes, let me know what you think about that as well. I'm tossing it out there. Yes, summer break, we got to make some noise, make some splashes. So, there's my prediction. Mercedes taking the team's Constructors' Championship, but everything else is still up in the air, and even that too. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but that's my prediction. I am looking forward to the next 2 weeks to take a little bit of a break, but I feel like once we get to next Sunday, I'm going to be like, all right, summer needs to end. I need my F1 back. I'm pretty sure you all feel the same. If you do, like this channel, like these videos, be sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Help me bring more videos like this to all of you out there. And with that said, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your time today. Hopefully, you've been enjoying this F1 season so far, and hopefully these next few weeks fly so we can all be back at it right here on F1 P1 Life. I'm your host, Sean Kilburn. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you all next time.